senior voices, impactful voices, and I can mention names. Our cases and issues lies with the law. Whether we have one senator or 2 members of House of Reps, if they are impactful voices, they will be listened to. They will be listening to. It is these voices that will determine increase in the number of what we are now feeling being shortchanged by number of National Assembly members. Our issues can be resolved through the National Assembly. No Mr. Minister or President can solve our challenges. So if our voices must be heard, it is at the National Assembly, and we have some responsible, reasonable amount of persons, you know them, that you can send to such institutions. I have not voiced like Comrade Ezekiel. He is a voice. He is a voice. This doctor that just addressed us through a lecture is a positive voice. Irrespective of where he comes from. The issue that concerns the all 9 tribes in FCT does not lie in one person or one language. It lies in all of us, and we have gotten some voices. These are the kind of people that I will appeal to most of you who are political gladiators to go home. And since we are trying to find a solution to our issues, go home and identify positive thoughts, positive minds, people who can speak for you. Not people who will be passive sitters. Not people who will be watching events and collect their dozens of millions, and then after 4 years when you turn back home and you give them title. These are not the kind of people we are looking for. Our voices must be listened to at the National Assembly. I am repeating it. Our issues and problem cannot be solved by Mr. President. Okay, we are appreciating the President for giving us a minister. Very well. Our voice is heard at the Federal Executive Council. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Traditional rulers, speak to them. We have representations here. The traditional rulers are also not helping matters in so many instances. So gentlemen, if we must speak our mind, let's say it categorically. Nothing to fail. We have issues, and our issues must be addressed squarely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. If you heard him, my sisters and brothers, he said the only way that we can be heard is through the National Assembly. And the only way they can hear us is when we come together to speak with the same voice, and it will be amplified. So I'll be passing the mic to my mother, Mrs. Chidawa, and your question will be that what role can education play in promoting indigenous cultures and knowledge system?
Thank you so very much, dear baby. Permit me to start by appreciating the organizers of this event. I'm so happy and delighted that we can come together like this as a force to demand for our rights. The representative of the Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor of this university, rightly said that except we come together, he told us how he has also tried his possible how he can preserve our lands when he was even in the office then. and the problem lies on ourselves. I'm so happy that a lot of us have gone to school. I started as a teacher in Yebu in Kwaita here in FCT in 1973. I have been an educator since then, since 1973 here in the FCT. And I know that I have a lot of disciples of those I have trained. My joy and satisfaction is that a lot of people have gone to school. And that is helping us so much. I am telling you from experience that at that particular time, we were rotating. If we have primary 1 this year, we will not have primary 2 this year. Because, we were having primary 1 this year, primary 3, primary 5. The following year, we will have primary 2, primary 4, just like that. Why were we skipping? Because a lot of us were not ready to send our children to school. And so when your family provides a child this year, another family will provide a child next year. And so it was. But today it's not like that. I'm so happy and delighted that we have people now that have gone to school. They have not even stopped at the primary level. They have gone to the higher institution, and today we have this school in our domain, and our children are benefiting from this school. I'm so happy that things are changing rapidly. Without education, we cannot get to anywhere. That I know, you know. I remember in one, like it was said, I've been a principal of so many schools, and in one of our meetings as ANCOPS, or Conference of Principals, one southerner brought an issue that we are just looking at the people of FCT, the indigenous people of FCT, as if they don't know what they are doing. He was now thinking and looking at the way the people were treated, being maltreated, being marginalized, being disrespected, being left like that as if they don't have anywhere to run to. And in that they said, look, as it happened in Niger Delta, so it is going to be in the FCT. Because when the children grow up and go to and are educated, they will surely fight for their rights. And that is exactly what we are doing now. Because our eyes are being opened, we are now seeing that we are being marginalized. We are not given our rights. We are not given our proper places. We are not being heard. We are not being respected. We are just left outside our rights. And today is the day that we are out to fight for our rights. When the first presenter was speaking, he said he had 17 pages of his paper. And we are in a society where people don't, want to sit down for too long. Even in our lecture halls, we have a limited time we can give. Because when you continue, there will be a time that people will not even listen to you again. They'll be thinking of other things. Their minds will have wandered out. And that is what we are. We hardly want to sit down in one place and listen and agitate and discuss and analyze and bring out issues for our own benefit. And without education, we cannot be able to do that. Without education, we cannot be able to voice out. Without education, we cannot be able to lead others. Without education, we cannot get to anywhere. And because of that, I want to appreciate the young ones that are out today. My joy is that we are not leaving our culture behind. My joy is that we are out to tell the whole world that we have a culture. We have a people that have common traditions, that have common aspirations, and that are really willing to work together as a people. When it comes to marriages, you can see that our young girls will always want to have they call it traditional day, a cultural day. Their Spencer nights where they come out with their tradition. Let us not forget our tradition. Let us not forget our culture. Let us showcase what we are, the type of people we are. The people know that we are a loving and kind people. and we cannot forget our own people. Let me just bring this advice to all of us. When we are known to the people who receive visitors, what do we do when the whole president of the nation comes to your city? Have we ever cared to say, oh, our president has come, he's our guest, let us go and welcome him? Or when the minister comes, which we are given, have we ever cared to come and to organize ourselves and say, okay, we have a new minister, let us go and welcome him? We have to start coming together, bring ideas and see how we can coordinate and welcome people and lobby our ways. Whether we have people at the house, when we know how to lobby, today's world is a world of lobbying. When we know how to lobby, when we showcase what we have, when we give respect, we know we have been marginalized and we need to receive that awareness. Please, let's stand up. Young ones, God bless you. The young ones, God will continue to lift you higher, so that you will think out ways that you will pull us out of the predicament we are in. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mama. Another call for action from Mama Jigawa. She said we should go back to school and be educated so that we find ways to amplify our marginalization and agitation. So I would like to hand over the mic to Professor Matthew Dada from the Department of Education. And my question is from conversations that came from Allah. So my question is to Professor Matthew Dada from the Education Department of the Abuja University. And my question to him is rising from the conversation that Mama came up with. She said, we are not being heard and we are marginalized. So I would like to ask him that what are some effective ways to raise awareness about the indigenous issues and promote understanding and respect for the indigenous people?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on burning issues. And let me start by also appreciating the organizers of this program. Thank the university for accepting to host the occasion. It's a right thing to be done at a time like this. I want to start by saying I am the Director Center for Community Development, University of Abuja. I have had times dealing with traditional rulers, especially those who are close to us. We treat them as immediate university community. I have been a lone voice in the University of Abuja, amplifying the need to recognize the indigenous people in terms of admission. And I want to loud my voice today to say for the past 4 years, before now, I used to have a lot of admission requests coming from different places. But at a point, I had to push for a policy that recognizes the indigenous people in terms of admission. And that has been done for the past 4 years. We have made frantic efforts. I can authoritatively tell you that for the past 4 years, we've helped to admit over 50 students of the indigenous people in the University of Abuja, courtesy my directorate. So that is to tell you that I'm just using this opportunity to also let you know admissions are on the corner, and if you have candidates who apply to the University of Abuja, please send their documents through me, through the Director Center for Community Development, and we assure you we do that, we do the justice to ensure that the people of the Federal Capital Territory are recognized and given slots of admission. Thank you very much for doing that. But before that, I now address the question. I want to build, sorry, she boxed me into one corner, but I wanted to have a free flow of ideas from the very honorable person who talked about policy. You see, what we are doing to ensure inclusiveness of the indigenous people, the voices cannot be heard if we continue to operate the policies that are at variance with what a philosopher called veil of ignorance. Most of the policies in the nation are actually not friendly to the minorities where the ACT indigenous people fall to, because we fail to realize that most of the people who sit on high places to make policies, they come in with their interests, and the interest of the minorities is never taken into recognition. People are pushed away. You know, it's a philosopher of the utilitarianism who proposed the policy of faith.
Please, can we be attentive? Those that are going to pray, please, can you quietly do that? Please, let's listen to him. We're having a very important conversation here. Please, let's be orderly. Thank you.
Who proposed the principle of veil of ignorance. Until our political leaders come to table with a veil of ignorance, the policy making in Nigeria will continue to be against the minority. As it stands, the so-called one slot of ministerial, of the senatorial seat we have, the two slots of reps, a house of rep we have, National Assembly representative we have. How protected are they for the indigenous people? How protected? How does the policy actually protect the interests of the indigenous people? If you get two slots of ministerial of senatorial appointment and it is not protected by policy, then somebody from Adama will still come and take a slot. We take the FCT slot and translate it to say that Adamawa State, sorry to use a specific state, I'm just giving an analogy. Adamawa State, we have two senatorial representation in the National Assembly. The same thing goes to the National Assembly. So if the policy is well protected and say yes, we now have the two senatorial seats for the ACT, let it be that it is only indigenous who are eligible to contest for those positions. Otherwise, if you have those policies, if you have those slots, and the slots are there, the slot, two slots are there for assembly, two slots are there for the senatorial seats, other Nigerians will still come and be, they are dragging that same seat with the ACT indigenous people. So I will call on us that we need to speak with one voice, because one of the things that people take advantage of is to divide us among tribes, among religion, and then they get in and take their way and have their way. And so if we don't speak with one voice, then we continue to sing this song on and on. So our problems are obvious. We are no longer thinking of identifying our problem. What we are talking about now is finding solution to our problems. Again, I want to talk about the policy of compensation, relocation, and all whatnot. For me, I think we should start with one voice. It is not about relocation. It is about integration. What makes you better than an ACT? We are all human beings. Why are you taking me far away? Where are you taking me to? Before we all belong to Niger, Kogi, Plateau, Nasarawa, now we have been carved out as ACT. Give us that identity and don't push us away. Keep us in one place. We don't care. Integrate us in the development process, not the issue of resettlement anymore. Let's stand on integration and not for integrating. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Matthew kept mentioning integration. It is a very critical part in our struggle. We need to integrate to amplify our voices. Quickly, I will be calling on Mr. Victor Emejuri from the Center for Social Justice. Mr. Victor, if you observe, we have all, the discussion has been centered around justice, marginalization. So I would like to ask what practical steps your center is doing to promote indigenous rights and preserve our cultural heritage in the FCT.
All right, thank you very much for that question. But before I answer, let me correct my profile. I'm Victor Emeji, the Program Manager for Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education. I was formerly with the Center for Social Justice, but I'm now with the Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education. So I guess my profile was not properly given to you.
I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you. So, with support from MacArthur Foundation, Christ-Child has seen the issue of human rights as a very critical element in its pursuit for justice. And human rights, looking at the FCT indigenous persons, we see this struggle as a struggle for human rights. You know, most of us are not indigenous of FCT, but because the people of FCT has rights that should be protected based on the Constitution of Nigeria. That is why Christ is also, speaking out as a voice to protect the rights of the persons of FCT. Now, looking at it from the human rights angle, the Universal Declaration of People and Human Rights provides that everybody should have a place that they can be proud to call them their own. That is a social status, an identity. And so, FCT indigenous are part of Nigerians. The laws, the constitution that guarantees the right of every citizen also applies to the people of FCT. And that is why we need to look at their identity as a right issue that should be protected. Where I come from, we hold land to be very sacred, and from the southeast of Nigeria. You don't cede your land unnecessarily, or you don't allow people to invade your land without any form of, let me not use the word compensation, because compensation cannot even compensate for what your land should the value your land should be. There must be a very good bargain before you decide to cede any part of your land to anybody. And so for the people of FCT to allocate some parts of their inheritance for the federal capital development is a very big sacrifice. I'm aware FCT has about 8,000 square kilometers. Now, if by virtue of national interest we say, let's cede 2,000 square meters for federal capital territory, what happened to the remaining 6,000? 6,000 should be given out to the people of FCT. Let them have the right to govern that territory, elect their own representative and develop it. If you also look at the cultural aspect of it, if you go to Lagos, you will see the symbol of the Yorubas. When you just enter Lagos, you come to my place in Abia State, you will see the symbol of an Abia man with his red cap. When you come to FCT, we should be able to see monuments, that are attributes of the indigenous of FCT. These are areas where we could project the cultural rights and identity of the people of FCT. You now come to the economic aspect of it. I think it's high time we have an FCT Indigenous Development Plan, because we shouldn't be having places like Galadimawa Village, having name it Asokoro villages. Why don't we call them Galadimawa City? Why don't we call them Asokoro City? Owned by the people of FCT, where there are good housing facilities, there are good roads, there are potable water, there are healthcare facilities enjoyed by these people, because they are human beings and they are citizens of Nigeria, so they should enjoy it. So I would want to, as part of steps, I want to ask that let us identify critically what are the key issues we are looking at, we are advocating for. From the center,
of human rights and civic education, we have supported the Indigenous to advocate. You should have a state of your own. A state where you can elect your own governor, as other states of Nigeria has the opportunity to also elect their own governor. You should have representatives, people that can speak for you, just like Honorable Kanito said, can speak for you at the National Assembly, equal number with the same states in other parts of the country. The people of the Indigenous of FCT should enjoy minimum standard of living and development in the area of healthcare, in the area of infrastructural development, in the area of education. These are very critical aspects. This is the way we can bridge this inequality gap between our host community and the Federal Capital Territory. So there's a need for us to identify our demands properly. We speak with one voice, and we know the right people to talk to. And we will not relinquish this struggle until we see that we are getting results from all these aspects of what we have been advocating for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Victor. We have heard you and we will harmonize our thoughts and work with the center. So I would like to, I have quite a number of questions that I want to engage them with, but I feel like it's about time to close down the panel session, and I will be handing over the microphone to our honorable here. But honorable, please, in your parting words, I am somebody that is very patriotic, and patriotic Nigeria and also patriotic as citizens. I see young people sitting here. I want you to encourage them, to speak to them on self-determination, and I believe that if I play my part, you play your part, there's going to be a brighter future. So I would like you to part your words with them with this encouraging words and elaborate on them, sir.
Thank you, the moderator. I think though the hall is becoming empty, possibly because of the time for prayer, but all the time, I would like to encourage, particularly the young ones, to speak up, be more voiceful. Like I said, if I have to sleep here, the only thing I will continue talking about FCT issues and how to solve our problems shall be through a good voice, impactful voices that can send message across to institutions and personalities that may listen to us and then get our problems solved. So as young as you guys are, I would like to appeal to you to speak out, go to school, be well educated, face the challenges of the time, and don't be afraid of anybody. Finally, I would like to also appeal to the coalition, right? In our further advocate, we should try to change the narrative. If you say we are looking for an FCT mayor, who is a mayor? A mayor is just a local government chairman. So I have also been a mayor before. If you're asking for a mayor, what are you going to do with a mayor? Why are you afraid of telling the world that you want a governor? We want governor for FCT. We want a state for FCT. It's a struggle. We will not achieve it now, but at the end of the day, we must achieve it. So we should never be talking of a mayor. I have been a mayor before for 6 years. That is just the definition of a mayor, a local government chairman. Okay? Let us ask for governor so that we can know exactly what we are pursuing. I want to thank the organizers. I want to also thank the moderator for this little question, and by the grace of God, we wish all of you well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I hand over the microphone to Mama Chidawa for her parting and closing remarks.
Thank you so very much, the moderator. And I still want to appreciate the organizers sincerely. We cannot run away from education. Everybody must be education because education is a right for everybody. And without being educated, you cannot stand out to say anything anywhere, you know. But when you know you are educated, you are sound, you can fit into any organization, any society, any community, any discussion. And so, like he rightly said, we should be able to stand firm and fight for our rights. Like the chairman has said, we cannot depend on mayoral position in FCT. We have passed that level. We want a governor for FCT. We want a governor for FCT. We want our own legislative arms in FCT. We cannot continue to rely on people that do not know our pains, but we know our own pains, and we know where the roof is leaking. We know where the shoe is pinching. So please, young ones, as you are coming up, let us buckle up, let us tighten up, let us fight for our rights. Let us continue to welcome visitors in the FCT, because we are a welcoming set of people, and the world recognizes that. Thank you so very much. We have a voice, we have voices, and you know the voices. We know you too are a voice, and that is why we are all here, collectively airing out and voicing out. Please, let us voice out that this is what we clearly want. Praying to God. Let us respect the rights. Moderator, you can see what has happened. The rights of the people must be respected and must be recognized. Because if we had started this program at the time we wanted to, everybody would have been out by now to go for prayers. And this is a very, very sensitive thing. We all need to serve God. We all need to look unto God. We all need to pray. So let us not pick offense for those who have gone for prayers. It is a mandatory thing for us, and it is something we must have to respect. When next we are planning, let us recognize the rights of the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You have the microphone for your action words and a call to action for FCT. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say and call on all of us FCT Indigenous that at whatever level you are, wherever you are, let the call, the fight for the rights of the indigenous people be your priority. Do everything that you can at your level to promote the rights of the people, of the indigenous people of FCT. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Victor. Let's hear from you.
So my parting word will be my call to action. I would like us, as we live here, let the people of FCT, we are not going to take over the fight from you, we can only support you, just like my executive director would always say. But I would like us to have an FCT Original Inhabitant Development Action Plan. However we want to do that, stakeholders of FCT Indigenous should gather and make that blueprint for the plan. In every communities that have been recognized to be indigenous communities of FCT, let there be a trace of development. You cannot continue to live in shanties, you cannot continue to live in communities without water, you cannot continue to live in communities without good roads. So there must be a development plan, there must be a political alignment plan. If we need to renegotiate this secession of the Federal Capital Territory, let's do that. Let there be square kilometer allocated to the FCT Indigenous that they will govern by themselves, for themselves, and for the people of FCTs. And I would also like us to speak more on our culture. You go to the markets, you can get the Ishiago of the Igbos, you get the Ajeres and the Ashoke, of the Hausas. But I found it difficult to even get your attire because when preparing for this event, because I don't know where I will see it in the market. So let's project our culture, let's set up monuments, let's prevail with the administration of the FCT administration authority to make this place known as an heritage of the indigenous people. Every embassies, every ambassadors that step into Abuja should know that there are people that are hosting them, and they should affiliate with the culture of these people and we should make efforts to project it in any way we can. And I think if we do this, the voice will begin to be laudable on the struggle. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I believe the stakeholders and with your organizational support will be able to come up with an FCT development action plan, and we'll work towards that. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear sisters and brothers, it is time for audience engagement. I'm sure you know, I'm sure this panel session will not be complete without hearing from you. Feedbacks, questions, and answers. Please, Mr. Peter, help me with that. So the floor is open for your questions, answers, and suggestions.
So please, any questions, addition, or anybody wants to add something to what I've been saying? Okay, one will be taking going, I'm coming. Two will be taking 3, 4 to the head. 1, 2, 3. Last one. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, let's use this section to take the questions. Let's go again, let me give you numbers. The hand here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the hand here. Okay, 5, 6. The 6 of you, please. Please, can you come this way? Number 1, 2 get ready. 3 get ready so that very quickly. I think we are gradually coming to the end of this section immediately after these questions. Maybe we'll have all the questions, then we can maybe share. Should we take one question, answer? Maybe. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the moderator and the organizers. My name is Mahmoud Muhammad from Garki village, Garki Hausa to be specific. I have one question I want to ask, especially to the organizers. I have considered this event a very good avenue for some of us to voice out. The question here is, if the marginalization we are talking about for the people of that city that government has meted of us, if we would deem ourselves the indigenous, we call ourselves as the indigenous, we are marginalizing ourselves. How can we succeed in fighting for the entire city when we ourselves we are marginalizing ourselves? For instance, before 2015, we have 13 children created by government, the traditional institutions. In 2015, 4 children were added. We have the Esquali, the Milwaukee, the Aguma of women, and Company, and all of us here cannot deny that we don't know Pali as one of our indigenous towns in the city. And yet, Company and his people are being marginalized as far as ACT indigenous issue is concerned. And that is our plight, and we have, every time we have ideology like this, we voice out to the people unless and until we know ourselves as one for us to succeed in what we are fighting. I don't think we can get it right. Thank you. That's just my observation.
Thank you very much for that question.
Question number 2.
Thank you very much. My name is Faith Wanshi. I'm the Executive Director, Center for Transparency Advocacy, and have championed the cause of the original inhabitants with Christed. In fact, I've had the opportunity of going to Geneva twice to present the issues of the original inhabitants at the UN conference for the rights of the indigenous persons. So I'm going to make a very short comment in support of what Victor said earlier about having an original inhabitants development plan. I was privileged to be part of the committee that was set up by the Mandate Secretary Area Councils. They visited the 17 chiefdoms and asked for what they were going to as their priorities. And it will shock you to note that some of the chiefdoms were asking for military barracks. Some of them were asking for upgrade of the chief's palace. Some of them were asking for the upgrade of their chief. to first class chief. And the question that comes to mind is, of what importance are these things that people have prioritized in their chiefdoms to the fight for the rights of the original inhabitants? Imagine that in that document, people had asked for a mapping of the natural resources within each chiefdom. We know that Nigeria is blessed, and we know that Abuja is doubly blessed because there's gold. You have all of these mountains you are seeing, they are all natural resources, and they are non-renewable. When we had our intervention with the original inhabitants, we tried to get the original inhabitants to be part of what they call the Community Development Agreements, and it's already enshrined in the Solid Minerals Act of 2007. So it's important that in designing this development plan, we need to look at what we have as natural resources that we can use as our bargaining power and for our negotiation, because you already have it. You cannot give it out free of charge. Most of the people who are constructing these roads are taking these roads free of charge because there's nobody. And then finally, like the Honorable said about demanding for a governor, when you have a governor, you have somebody who is sitting within the governor's conference and is able to take these issues to the next level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Number 3, please.
With respect to already established protocol, firstly, I want to appreciate and thank University Authority. When we talk about real integration, as part of our demand, I see the University of Abuja as already implementing the policy of integration. All the community within the domain of the university, when university get there, they don't threaten anybody to evacuate, to leave, in order to give them space for development. So I appreciate them for that. Honorable candidate, I also appreciate you have been on this struggle even before you became councillor. And up to now, when we look at it, among the prominent politicians in FCT, he is the only one that is obviously present here. So we thank you and God for you. We don't know what brought us to this level. We have voices in the late 70s and early 80s. That is why we had 9 development areas. When the nomenclature of this development area changed, it now brought us down to 6 area council. Why? We had 3 federal constituencies. I remember elections were conducted. Lazarus Gaza represented 1 constituency. Jacob Usman represented 1 constituency. Ibrahim represented 1. We thought those constituencies were going to be increased, but to our dismay, they were brought down to. So what happened? So I want to call. We cannot relent. Change does not come so easy. When you are fighting for your right, it doesn't come easily. I want to call on the elders. The young ones are fighting. Don't feel that I am them on you. It doesn't go that way. If you have idea, call on them. Don't allow them to go alone. Call on them and advise them and guide them through. Don't feel that they are sidelining you. They cannot do it alone. You are elders. They are call upon them and guide them so that we will be able to achieve what we are looking for. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Aisha Lawan. The name might sound strange here at Indigenous Group. I teach Nigerian people and culture in sociology department, though I'm a criminologist. I just have an observation which I came to lay my own contribution based on that. If it's possible, anytime there's a cultural gathering like this, colloquial meetings or thereabout, I suggest maybe people come with those traditional attires for display in order to market. Those that don't have and don't have time to go to the market can as well purchase. That's my contribution. Thank you very much for that contribution.
Good afternoon. I want to appreciate the organizers of this event and also to appreciate the presence of our real fathers. I am by name Hassan Alimi, a 200 level sociological student of Uni Abuja. And my question goes this way. The event is all about media colloquium. And now my question is, how do we promote indigenous representation in media and also in education and also other aspects of our social life? And also, how do we enhance or promote indigenous understanding across the country of the world? Thank you.
I think this is the last question. Good afternoon, everybody. Oliver Chima is the name. I represent the Merogan Foundation and the program officer. I'm very good. I'm an added listener of Honorable A.A. Candido, and I want to appreciate Mama Chidawa here. I appreciate the fact that a lady spoke before I came on board, because when Honorable A.A. Candido was speaking, he said on 2-3 occasions, gentlemen, gentlemen, gentlemen. And I asked, where are the women in all this? Because the two key words that came repeatedly in this colloquium is integration and what? Integration and forgetting the other word. But the thing is that integration cannot be complete if our women, our female folks are not carried along. Not too long ago, we had an area council election, delegate election for crying out loud. And one of the things they use in screening out most of the women is that you are a woman. It starts subtly. When the say gentlemen, gentlemen, that means in a lot of the women that are not part of this, he may not mean it, but it starts like that. We're in the 22nd century for crying out loud. If this integration have to be carried, you have to be carried with me. And that's why I appreciated the fact that the woman came out, because you have young university students who are here. They want to become something to me, they want to become politicians to me and all that. If we keep putting them on the answer where we know, it ends like that. So please, I want us to encourage our women. Thank you very much.
The first question is about internal marginalization from the hospital, and I'll hand over the microphone to the candidate to respond to that question.
My friend, Honorable Mahmouda, was the one that asked this very critical and sensitive question. And I would like to start by appealing to the organizers. I'm talking of the coalition generally. This question requires a very serious time. It's a very critical question. We sitting here may not be the architects of identifying FCT original inhabitants with 9 quote-unquote tribes. None of us here is an architect of that. We are only students of history. We read history, and this is what we are taught. Now, if you ask a Fulani man today, he will tell you he's not a Hausa man. If you ask a Hausa man that bears Hausa Fulani, he will tell you he's not a Fulani man. So in this regard of Mahmouda, I think for us to be on the saving grace, critical stakeholders of the Abuja project need to have a good time so you can discuss this matter squarely. No solution can be found here. Reasons are best known to all of us. None of us is an architect of that. But as scholars, as history students, if we say something now, it could mean we are taking sides. But if we have to speak in reality, then I should be able to tell Mahmuda that a Gondara person who comes from Kano sees himself as also a Hausa man. Jokingly, I was talking to them sometimes in a program that has to do with Faria. Okay. We're always guided. But I would like Mahmuda as a very good friend, so that we don't look into the naughty issues now and then may not be able to arrive at a solution right here. We want you to go home, assemble like minds, approach the authority clearly, in particular start with this forum, the coalition. They will help you. In helping you, we are helping ourselves. We are helping ourselves. We are beginning to show, oh, in FCT, we have this or that tribes. Let me give you an instance. I promoted the Hausa person in my days as chairman of an area council. It was opposed actually. But because I faced this reality, I stood my ground. I said, I remember prior to coming of FCT, there used to be some houses in some communities, e.g. Garki, Karo. And then we are also identifying some community heads with some titles. District heads here, village heads here. And I remember in Garki we have a community that is Hausa based. And they call themselves Garki Hausa. So if they are Garki Hausa, it means their culture will be distinct from the Bangis of Garki. So they need a leader. They need who will promote and protect their heritage and culture. So we move and got them a traditional institution. That is to give them a sense of recognition and of course respect. But as far as history is concerned, like I have been guided, I will suggest that Honorable Mahmuda and your like minds, please approach this sensitive issue with sensitive organizations so that we can look at the matters squarely, because we cannot be able to define who is being marginalized. Because for me, the Baggies can't marginalize me. I'm a Gondara person. I can't put on the fabrics of a Baggy person now. I can only wear my own. And the Baggies will also not, so the Gondara will not also marginalize the Baggies. We identify ourselves here by our colors of what we wear. The 9 tribes are here with their fabrics, with their costumes. Let the Hausas come here with their costumes, with their fabrics, and let's know that we have this number of tribes in FCT. I think we can do that better when we approach the right institution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I would also like to set myself as a volunteer for that committee because I am also Hausa and I am from the FCT. And I am more indigenous than any other person sitting in this hall. Thank you very much. I would like to hand over the microphone to Professor Matthew. I would like you to respond to the question on how to promote inclusion in media and education, how to promote indigenous inclusion in the media and education space.
I think the direction was particularly about gender inclusion. Gender inclusion. In respect of the last speaker who talked about gender inclusion. Globally, there are treaties, there are conventions that speak for inclusiveness in all aspects of human endeavors. And so, as indigenous people, the inclusiveness will start from our homes. It will start from our homes. In a situation where female are considered as second, what do you call them? They are second members of the families, as if they are not, I mean, they are not treated fairly. That should start from home. Whatever you're doing to your male child, don't make him feel that he is more superior than the female part, the female gender. They should be treated equally. There should be fairness, there should be equity. And then when it comes to political inclusion and politics, I also call for gender inclusiveness, where women are given the right places in the political affairs of the FCT. But the women vote too shouldn't wait to be, for slots to be created for them. They should fight for it. They should come for it. They should be committed to fighting their way through, so that all these cultural barriers that are being created and making them and putting them away from being part of the happening will be a thing of the past. And so we really need to look into this right from the home to our communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Lastly, I would like our mother here to respond to the question that spoke about integration of women in the FCT quest.
Thank you so very much, and let me thank the person who brought about the issue, a he for she, who is seriously interested in seeing the inclusion of women in every sphere of life. I am always very sensitive to that when I come to a gathering, and on the high table you will see no woman at all. The men have taken over every sphere. Even in the home sometimes, there are men who are just impossible in the house. They will want to just say it finally. They don't care to involve the wife even in taking decision. And that is very, very wrong. Please, we are growing, and the women are more in number than men. Yet we are always intimidated. Anywhere I go and I see such, I always bring up the issue. In most cases, okay, like us here now, I am the only woman in the panel, except for the moderator that just came in. And that is not fair enough. Please, stop intimidating us women. There are things we will fight for, and there are things we need to be given, on the platter of gold, and not wait until we struggle for it. Take for instance the Niger State. The governor came up with a policy that every local government vice chair must be a woman. Did it not happen? Every vice chairman in Niger State is a woman in all the 25 local government areas. So I think that is what is supposed to be, and I expect that in Nigeria too, a policy should come that in 3 senatorial districts of every state, one must be a woman, one must be a woman, one must be a woman, and in 6 House of Representatives, 2 must be a woman, and then 2 must be women, and then 4 will go to the house. If we take that step and bring that up, I think it will be better. You cannot do anything without a woman. Any organization without a woman is always a failure, because women think out. Tell me, give the woman the president today, you will see the way Nigeria will be transformed. Because the woman is the good manager of her home. The woman takes care of you, her children. Now tell me what you will tell the woman to do, and she will not give it to you excellently. Women, what do you say about it? Please give us our rightful place, and God will bless you.
Thank you very much, Mama. We'll keep lobbying and amplifying and advocating for women inclusion in government and policy. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to draw the curtains of this. But my dear sisters and brothers, today we celebrate our resilience, strength, and rich cultural heritage. Our traditions, languages, and customs are the foundation of our identity and the source of our pride. I salute our ancestors who fought to preserve our ways of life, and I honor the elders who continue to pass on our knowledge and traditions. To the younger generation, our cultures are a treasure and our voice must be heard. As we gather to celebrate this important day, I want you to know that your struggles, achievements, and contributions are valued and recognized. Let us continue to stand together, support one another, and work towards a brighter future where our indigenous rights are respected and our cultures thrive. We are the guardians of our lands, our languages, and traditions. Let us keep our cultures alive, promote our values, and pass on our heritage to the future generation. Together we can build a stronger and more vibrant community that celebrates our indigenous identity. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Adia, for this wonderful section. Please, you can still have your seat. We love you being there. If you want to be part of what is happening, we're going to allow you to sit there and be watching from here because we still have one or two entertainment. We'll just take a lot of things. And then we have a very good section of photograph, please, for the panelists. Just want to snap you before you take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, no one. I mean, no man, of original habitat. Very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, while we were having this very session, some of us went out to observe the Friday prayers, which I'm so very sure that the issue of FCT original habitat was also put into prayers. And I'm sure that God has had our cry, and the need or the needful is going to be done to us very soon. Please let me raise the once more for FCT people. Very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to do what I'm supposed to have done before now. I would have done something that would have caused not just my stay at an MC or as the moderator of this program, but also as an FCT of Indigenous of FCT. Permit me to recognize our father, a man that I've been here because from the beginning to this very moment he has been sitting down very quietly, observing and seeing everything is happening. He has one time served as a commissioner as a commissioner of the National Population Commission. He is also the chief executive director of Microfinance Bank. He's not that person but Dr. Aliu. Thank you for being here with us. Recognize your presence once again. Thank you very much. I also want to very recognize the presence of the NTTU Metro leader, the person from the Colloquium of Matthew. Thank you for being here with us. Please, thank you very much. Please, as we are having our seats, we still have a presentation that we're going to be doing to our chief hosts. Please, thank you. Let's have our seats. But before we do that, so that we can have us settle down, those that are showing before I can finish it, because I want everybody's attention here. As we're doing that, I would like one of our doctoral troops to get ready. But before they get ready, I need to invite on stage for just 2 minutes. Now we're coming to train us in order to come in while we have our seats, while we have ourselves being seated, and then like the master coming in, sit down because we have just 1 or 2 minutes of things that we'll be taking, and then we'll be doing a presentation. Then we can now take our leave. We are done for today. Please thank this one for Ogabazi very quickly. We have 2 minutes for this presentation of Ogabazi while people are having their seats to be settled down. Ogabazi very quickly, we have a message. He has a message we want to give. As he's coming, I would like to kill and of course, Trevor in the duty to us to get ready.
Original habitat, if you believe that FCT is your land and my land, please let's make some noise. Let's clap our hands together.
30, 25, 30, and maybe 18 years old and enjoying the episode, and everyone wants to hear from our Lord. We will be taking one-on-one that our fathers will enjoy also. The one that our fathers will enjoy. Please, can you come in very quickly as we go with the presentation for our VC, please? Get ready with the presentation to the VC. Let's see here, let me come in. Sharp, please, we have 3 minutes. 2 minutes as we are doing this, we will take the presentation. Then we now have Q&A in the building. Please, can we have all tribes that are here? The 3 troops that are represented are there. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just a test of what will be happening tomorrow at Old Parade around 10 a.m. in the morning. We have 9 good, beautiful indigenous tribes that will be coming to display and more other tribes. So if you want to see more of these, let's make that program. I just want to invite our coordinator as we be doing a presentation very quickly, the coordinator of FCT Indigenous Groups, Engineer Shitu Jidao. Very quickly, please.
Thank you for this honor, and I want to use this opportunity to recognize the senior comrade in the struggle, the former Commissioner PCC, to join me to the stage for the presentation of this award, because I can't do that without him on the stage. He has been one of the vibrant in the forefront of the struggle of FCT emancipation. He has been on the online at all time. I think even this morning he was somewhere before coming to this program. So it will be a honor for me to invite him to the stage to present this idol award, and he will do that on our behalf. Welcome, sir. So we invite the professor, the director, in charge of Indigenous language, Steve, our Professor Bashir, to represent.
Original inhabitants, before I present this award, I will please beg the VC to remain standing, and all of us to rise as we observe a minute silence for late Kamal Karishi, who was killed for seeking for justice at the National Assembly. Please, Jaba, I should not turn up and should immediately. VC, this young man who were at the National Assembly with him when they constituted North Central Development Commission and decided not to bring anybody from FCT to be represented. Part of what we are trying here, how do you have a commission like that and nobody from the FCT to be represented? It was at the process of peaceful demonstration that police attacked us, and this young man sustained injury on his brain and died eventually. We must honor him, and his blood will never go in vain. Amen. We are also standing to observe a minute silence for our brother Bukar Babagia from Tungamaje, who died just day before yesterday in a ghastly motor accident. He was one of the pioneer coalition members that we have been in the struggle on Giri Tungamaje land against the military. He was very loud in his voice and visible. So then Allah, prayer for these two souls and many other, Baba Wodi, Alhaji Akamal, the Mushuaibu, many of our fallen heroes. Barrister Panya Baba, Barrister Nasara, the list is endless for people we all know have been part of this struggle. May the soul of the departed fellows rest in peace, and may Allah grant them a Jannat Firdaus. You may please have your seat. Thank you very much. The VC of this Noble University, this award is not the normal award that they present to you, sir. This award is unique and is a recognition of what we have decided to do differently from other government institutions. Your university have decided to recognize that there are people in this land who are original owner of the land. And by coming up with this center for the development of the indigenous people of FCT, that is one of the recognition we are giving you for.
Secondly, to also enjoy you that the era of the people of FCT struggling to have admission should end. That we should have admission seamlessly. Professor Gada and Co have been trying, have been helping us. But when we just gather the printout and we are asking for admission, it's usually cumbersome. We want the university to declare clearly the quota we have to fill, so that it will be documented and it will be domesticated in your annals. Let's know for law how many quota, what is the quota of the people of FCT to have, in the law faculty? How many for medicine? How many for engineering? How many for whatever? If you have a clear quota, sir, which I know you will do, because being an indigenous person from Plateau, we know you know what you first descend to. But irrespective and believing and reportedly confident that you will do it to end this marginalization of us struggling to enter university in our own land, we believe you are going to do it. And that is why we want to recognize you for the little you have done. Because my Bible says, to whom is faithful with a little shall be given more. And so when you are faithful with what you have done already, and we are happy, that is why our fathers, all the area council chairmen, all the 62 councillors, all the 2 House of Rep members, all the 70 graduate chiefs have asked us to present this to you in honor and recognition of your service to God and humanity. Thank you. So you can see it's not an ordinary award. This is a woman who never went to school, but she's a doctor. And by identity, she is on our currency. So this symbol is a symbol of the original inhabitants of the FCT, and this will guide you, it will direct you, and also give you all the necessary victory you ever desire to have in the university. Thank you. God bless you.
Dear friends of the Federal Capital Territory, Indigenous of the Federal Capital Territory, I received this award on behalf of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Abuja in the person of Professor Patricia Monkola. And I want to assure you that all your requests will be channeled to our Vice Chancellor of this great institution. But let me just add one, that admissions will be given if qualified. And like you rightly said, there are some specialized courses that requires higher cut-off mark. So once an indigene of the FCT meets this requirement, I assure you that the Vice Chancellor or whoever may come after her will not rescind or joke with our host. You have been very good host and a peaceful host at that. So I received this gift, which is a symbol of the indigenous people of our nation's capital, Abuja. This Dr. Ladi Kwali, the famous daughter from Kwali Area Council. There is no Nigerian who will say he doesn't know Dr. Mrs. Ladi Kwali. And one last remark I want to make regarding the comment made by our mom, Dr. Mrs. Chidawa. She's a doctor, she's in the university community, is that I think there is an affirmative action in this university, very close to her doors. The Vice Chancellor is a woman, the Registrar is a woman, the Librarian is a woman, the Grasser is a woman, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic is also a woman. So I don't know why, all our dreams are being fulfilled here at the University of Abuja. Thank you very much.
Sorry, one more thing in appreciation. Let the VC know that representative of the coalition, FCT Stakeholders Assembly, the area council chairman will visit the VC in the coming weeks to welcome her specially and also congratulate her. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this wonderful session. I want to say a good message very quickly from the country director of Action in Nigeria. Please, if the representative is here.
2-3 hours.
Okay.
24 hours program.
Okay, while we're getting ready for the next person, can I have K1U? No? Please press down for K1U very quickly for total representation while we're getting ready for class from on the stage. Thank you very much, Kira.
Thank you, sir. Alright, are you ready? Ba ba tambo ka cikin jami'ai sauri kamar zawo.
Let me take your
Let's go.
Representative of the Save the Children in the senior family of the government of this we're running up. Please, you have a car with the serial number DKA 29BR. Is an Honda car with registration number DKA 29BR. Your lights are on. Don't be an officer, you don't need to look for battery. Go off the lights. Go off the light. If your battery will run down and you don't want to help you, please, very quickly. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. All protocols duly observed. Save the Children is honored to join this important media colloquium organized by the Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education with the support of McCarthy Foundation. At Save the Children, we strongly believe that everyone's rights should be respected and protected, and that's why we're really excited about this particular event. We believe everybody's rights should be respected and protected, especially for children. who are among the most vulnerable members of our society. We believe that children are not only the future, they are active citizens for today. And when we protect everybody's rights, including that of children, listen to their perspective and create safe spaces for them to thrive, we secure a stronger and more inclusive society. We would like to commend the organizers and partners for providing this platform that champion the rights and dignity of everybody, the indigenous people here in Abuja and even across Nigeria, and that of children. Also while preserving the cultural heritage that gives identity and pride to communities. Save the Children as an international organization remains committed to working to ensure that every child survives, learns, and is protected. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The pastor, corporate troop, are you ready? How many of you want to learn flavor? Who want to learn flavor voice? How many of you want to learn you? How many of you? Okay, sing one line of one of the song, one line. Just one line. One here, just one line. Who are you? Thank you, thank you. Pastor, corporate troop, are you ready? Once again, can you please put it there as I call on stage? Trevor. Thank you very much. People have been invited for our time. Very quickly, Trevor, welcome. Thank you for your Maggie and piano man. So anywhere you go, I'm telling you, the Barry, the Bali, the Basa, the Guadora, the Kuru, and all other indigenous tribes of FCT, we are all doing. anyone here to represent you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this program, but before I call on our landlord of the colleague to give us the vote of thanks and closing remarks, I don't know if the country director of Action in Nigeria, the representative here, if he's back, if he's back, I want to call on brother for a very quick presentation while our daddy makes his way to the podium for the closing remarks. Our current professor, the very well from the planning and everything, to be very much the daddy as well, getting set to come on stage for the closing remarks and vote of thanks. We'd just like to take 2 seconds to do this presentation. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. I am Anthony Obadaya, the president of Bagi Association of FCT Nursing and Midwifery School, and I'm here to present an award of excellence to Mr. Ezekiel Dahatu Musa, PCC, for the outstanding and the support and the unwavering advocacy. Okay, sorry, thank you. So I want to present this award of excellence for his outstanding support and his unwavering advocacy for the FCT Indigenous students and also the students of FCT Bagi Association. Thank you very much, sir, for your support. We are grateful, sir. We, the BASA, the Bagi and the Bagi students of FCT are saying thank you, and thank you also for making our day a remarkable and a memorable one, our cultural day. Thank you for coming, sir, despite your schedules. God bless you, sir. Yes, sir. And what to be.
Thank you very much. Actually, the second hour thing will do that in the office, the person to receive you have already taken his leave. So thank you for coming. I need your challenge to government pretty much here as I bring on stage Comrade Professor Al-Hassan Bagi, a very humble man, a gentleman to the core, and to be standing in his ear person that are morning face. Thank you very much. Daddy, you're welcome. Thank you for everything you do. We love to hear your voice. To close us, thank you very much, sir.
Dear friends and indigenes of the Federal Capital Territory, while I wish you good celebration of the 2025 World Indigenous Peoples Day, I also want to tell you that the University of Abuja stands shoulder to shoulder with you on this day, which is your day. But please don't be mindful of the fact that a recognition of the fact that you are our host. You gave up your land, which is vital for the university to be situated. We are not ungrateful, and it is in this light that the university has set up a center for Indigenous FCT studies. But the center needs the help of the indigenes to make it worthwhile. During the stakeholders meeting that was held on the 31st of January 2024, last year, we gathered the cream de la cream of indigenes of FCT. They were all gathered in this hall, and as a recognition of your support, the then Vice Chancellor instructed the Physical Planning Unit to allocate a permanent land, parcel of land, for us to build our office and some other ancillary structures that will support that office. Up till today, that land is still lying fallow. So I urge indigenes of the FCT to see to it that that land is built, that the Center for Indigenous FCT Studies have an office, a working space. We also hope and pray that indigenes of these federal capital territories who have made it through thick and thin will look back and then give back to society. This center must act as a facilitator in training young indigenes of the FCT. Training in form of what is being referred to as resource recovery and then smart agriculture. And any other training that the indigenes of the FCT may want as form of capacity building, the center can and should and must facilitate this training. So it is a challenge we are throwing to you to come up with a program. It will be domiciled in this university and within the center that you will help to build. And then certification of the University of Abuja will be given. In other words, graduates of such programs will have the certificates of University of Abuja. So it is up to you to come up with these programs of training for your indigent students in all spheres of life. Remember, there is World Center for Indigenous Studies. They are always asking us, do we have any form of training? Do we have some kind of what some they refer to as study leave grants? I.e., there are individuals who might be interested in studying any of the 9 indigenous ethnic groups. The University of Abuja will serve as an anchor to such individual, and then we will provide logistics. But as at now, we are incapacitated in providing these logistics that they require for them to come over. They need at least a workable office, and we don't have an office. We are just sharing a small office in many campuses in Guadalajara. They also need a working vehicle. They need multi-links. They need solar because they know that Nigeria has a problem of electricity and internet. When they are here, when they come back from the field, they want to send their reports, back home, anywhere in the world. I'm sure you are unaware, you are not unaware of the fact that there are centers for indigenous studies in leading universities all over the world. In the US, in Canada, in Mexico, in Australia, New Zealand, and so many European countries. So Wilbur tells you that interest in indigenous studies, indigenous people studies is not important, he's just deceiving himself. And we have a mandate. Our mandate, we are yet to start exploring this mandate, which is to study anything, your arts, your music, indigenous music, your artifacts. As you gather here, we are supposed to go through our gallery and then you see the arts and artifacts of the indigenes of this federal capital territory. But there is no facility for that. Some of you with these artifacts can give it up and then it will be domiciled at the University of Abuja with all descriptions. Just some while ago, I learned with sadness that some indigenes who fought for the rights of indigenes of the FCT, have paid the supreme price. Please, don't allow these individuals, their effort in fighting for all of you to go in vain. We need their pictures, we need their profile to be embedded in our website. The university has a website, and the Center for Indigenous Studies also has a website embedded in the university website. So please, the organizers, come up with their photograph. Come up with their profile so that, people will read about them, what they did, their contributions to the emancipation, and then their rights in terms of empowering indigenous voices, promoting the rights of indigenous people, and preserving their culture. With the influx of Nigerians like me, I'm from Kano, I'm not an indigenous person, but I also commiserate and share your rights. But anybody that comes in 20, 100 years, 200 years to a millennium, you will read about these individuals, on the portal of University of Abuja. Please don't fail them. Lastly, I want to thank the organizers of these, and that this is the beginning of synergy between the Center for Indigenous Studies, FCT Studies, University of Abuja, and the Indigenous. All the various cultural organizations must have representation in our center. Tell us what we want to know, or you want the entire world to know about your ethnic group. I'm referring to each of the 9 indigenous ethnic groups. We must have your costume, your traditional food, your culture, traditional medicine, law, traditional law. All of this should be given to us in our center, and then we should serve as a repository of these in the center that pertains to each of the 9 indigenous ethnic groups. So lastly, I want to thank the organizers of these for putting up a show, and I want to wish each and every one of us a safe journey back to our respective domains. God bless the Federal Capital Territory. God bless the indigenous of the Federal Capital Territory. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for having us. At this junction, we will be calling our brother to give us closing prayers, that we can have the. Please go to your thing, come forward to close us. Thank you very much. Very quickly. You're welcome, sir.
All right, shall we be on our feet as we pray? Father, we thank you for time like this. We thank you for how far you have brought us, how far you brought us to the end of this event. We ask that all that have been deliberated upon here, you will help us to achieve them to a very successful conclusion in the name of Jesus. And as we depart here, we ask the Spirit to guide us, lead us to our very decision in peace. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. Please committee members stay behind, and also the entering executive. Entering the school, stay by coordinator. Entering the school coordinator, committee members of FCT Indigenous League. Thank you for coming. We'll be having our second photograph